Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave podcast. Troy Warner here. And look, today I put up a post on Instagram about, there was a lot of talk in the media about Jason Ryles, the incoming coach of the Parramatta Eels in 2025, making a captaincy change, or the possibility of making a captaincy change at the Parramatta Eels. And current captain Clint Gutherson, or I put up the post, Captain Gutho or Captain Moses. I put that up on the Instagram page, and look, I got a lot of comments about those, both on Instagram and Facebook as well. Now, let's just go through a few of them. A few people suggesting co-captains, Mitch Moses as well. What else have we got? We've got Mitchell to be captain, while Gutho can be co-captain. So co-captains. Gutho deserves to retain it. A lot of people saying potentially maybe Junior could be stripped of his captaincy before taking Gutho's captaincy off him. Nothing wrong with Gutho's leadership. I also put up a poll on Instagram as well about this question, and a lot of people are actually put up the poll for Clint Gutherson or Mitch Moses as captains. And look, the majority at the moment sees Mitchell Moses. Fans are wanting Mitchell Moses as captain of the Parramatta Eels compared to Clint Gutherson. Now, look, if I switch over to the Facebook page and I'll just check out the comments on that one, it generally was about the same sort of comments as well. King Gutho got the favour. Tom Shearer, Gutherson has been incredible as a fullback and as a leader. I think this is a great move by Jason Ryles. Our club needs to shake up Moses and Gutherson, captain and vice-captain. So, captain and vice-captain. You don't really hear much these days about vice-captains, do you? These days you hear a lot more about captains and co-captains and sometimes club captains as well, but you don't really hear about vice captains too much in this day and age. A lot of people saying Mitchell Moses, they'd be happy for him to take the captaincy. Gutho too hot-headed. Co-captains like other clubs. King Gutho with Vice-Captain Moses for when Gutho retires. If Moses isn't sticking around, give it to someone else who is committed to the club. So, look, a lot of comments on both the Facebook and the Instagram post that I put up. So, and I can understand people's comments. And, look, I just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents worth, I guess you could say. Look, at the moment, Clint Gutherson is the captain of the Parramatta Eels. Obviously, there is Junior Paolo as well. They are co-captains, but it's generally more Clint Gutherson who plays that captaincy, that captain role. You see him at the coin toss, you see him at the press conferences, you see him talking to the referees as well. So I guess you could say that Junior could be the leader the captain of the forwards, so to speak, or he may play a little bit of a, I guess you could say, club captain sort of a role, which we, as I just mentioned before, you don't really see a lot of in rugby league these days, but I'm sure they are out there. But just like a club captain, so, at training and for the media and things like that, they can be like the club captain. But Clint is more your on-field captain. You'll see him talking to the referees about decisions that he doesn't like, I guess, and also you'll see him ask the referee for captain's challenges as the referee listens to him if he wants to have a captain's challenge. Look, I don't mind Clint being captain. Look, I think he is a leader at Parramatta, and he is 100% committed to the club. He is 100% committed to winning. That's what you want in your leader. And look, I think he is a good captain. I wouldn't complain about him not being captain as well. But I think this talk about Mitchell Moses being captain of the Parramatta Eels is probably a little bit of a maybe keep him at the club sort of thing. I don't necessarily think having a C next to Mitchell Moses' name would worry him, to be honest. I mean, basically, on the field, I think he is sort of a captain anyway, where he's marshalling the troops around on the field and the like. Obviously not this year, unfortunately he's out for the year with that bicep injury, but you would think that he would be marshalling the troops around on the field. Clint would be the one that would go to the referee and talk to the referee, and the referee would talk to him if he has any issues about any of the Parramatta players. But I do not think that it would worry Mitchell Moses if he wasn't captain of this side. Look, I think he has a lot of responsibility anyway on the field. He's got his kicking game to worry about. He has his goal kicking to worry about as well. Being the number 7 of the Parramatta Eels is a massive job, as we all know, because Parramatta haven't won a competition in, 38 years. And look, they always get compared to Peter Sterling. But look, it is a massive job, that number 7 position at the Parramatta Eels. So, look, I don't even think it would worry Mitchell Moses if he had the C on his next to his name as captain anyway. I'm happy for Clint to keep that job. And look, as a few people mentioned in the post, co-captains, that's a good thing as well. We don't know how long Clint Gutherson is going to be playing for. He plays his 200th Eels game this weekend, so congratulations to Clint on that achievement, a massive achievement, 200 Eels games. So he has had knee injuries in the past, suffered one this year as well, was out for a few weeks. So look, I hope he can play on for as long as he can. As long as he can physically play on for, I hope he can play on, and I'm sure he'll be captain for as long as the Parramatta Eels want him to be captain. Look, is a change necessary? Look, maybe it is, because, a change can be good in a side. I don't think Clint would begrudge Mitchell being the captain of the Eels if that was bestowed upon him. So I think, it would take a little bit less pressure off Clint as well. We have seen at the Bulldogs this season, Stephen Crichton coming across from the Panthers, becoming the captain of the Bulldogs. Reid Marnie was the captain. Look, Reid's probably had a better season to an extent this year, as he was called into the Origin squad for game number 3 for Queensland. Didn't play, but he was in the Origin squad. I think he was 20th man or something. So I think he has been playing a little bit better football this season. So maybe that is because he hasn't had the C next to his name, and Stephen Crichton has taken upon that role. Look, I even think next year with Zach Lomax coming to the Parramatta Eels as well, I think Zach could be the goal kicker of that this Parramatta team. He is a good goal kicker. We saw in Origin a couple of kicks from the sidelines, very in pressure cooker moments, especially up there at Suncorp Stadium in front of 52,500 Queenslanders. So he has a good goal-kicking record, and I think maybe if you took that off Mitchell Moses, he would not mind that. He can then concentrate on his game and running this team around the field, and just a little bit less pressure on him to not make those sideline conversions. He doesn't have to worry about that. Zach can do that. But look, if Zach takes a back seat and Mitchell still continues to be the goal kicker, well then you've got a handy backup goal kicker anyway. So look, in conclusion, I think maybe if Clint didn't have the captaincy, then yeah, definitely you would give it to Mitchell Moses, but I don't think it's going to change too much on the field if there is a C next to Mitchell Moses' name. I don't honestly think that will entice him just because he is captain to stay at the Parramatta Eels. I think it will come down to the team's performance and the like. So I just don't think that is a sweetener that Mitchell Moses will stay at the Parramatta Eels. I don't think it'll change his game too much having that C next to his name. If anything, I think that will maybe put more pressure on Mitchell during a game having that C next to his name. So look, a very interesting one, something that I just thought I'd talk about, something that the media brought up. So I thought I'd talk about it. I put the post up, got a bit of engagement about that, so I thought I'd just bring this one out. A short, quick, sharp little podcast. A few people have messaged me and asking my opinion, so I thought I'd just share it here with you guys and girls. So thank you very much for listening to this. So I really appreciate that, and yeah, continue on letting me know your thoughts about whether you would have Clint Gutherson as captain or Mitchell Moses as captain, or could they be co-captains, and where does then that leave Junior Paulo? Does he continue to have the co-captain role at the Parramatta Eels? Again, another player who, if that was taken away from him, I think, look, he would probably agree that he probably hasn't had the season this year that he would like to have. Unfortunately, he is out injured at the moment, but and for the rest of the season. But I think he would probably agree that he probably hasn't had the best of seasons this year in the competition. He would love to have been playing better this year for the Eels, no doubt. So again, maybe if that co-captaincy role is taken off Junior, sure, he will be a leader within the club and within the forwards, definitely, because he's one of the most experienced players in the club. But if that that co-captaincy role is taken off him and given to Mitchell, then I think that may improve his game as well. It's just something less that he has to worry about, and then he can just concentrate on his game. So look, I just thought I would throw in my 2 cents worth. I hope you have enjoyed that. And look, if this is something that you like, please let me know. And if I do post in the future, I may even do a few little podcasts like this as well. Instead of replying back to I will reply back to messages, and I have done that before. Reach out anytime, I don't mind. But also, it just saves me responding back in posts, and that I thought I'd just bring it up as a quick little podcast to listen to. So thank you very much for listening, and enjoy your footy, and go Para! The Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Para Cave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
listening to another episode of the Para Cave Podcast. See you next time.